Hello folks, welcome back once again, and this is my Quest 2 best settings video using a 3070 Ti as a reference. Now right now I'm flying once again over London City in the pit special like yesterday's video or whenever this goes out, and look at this, I'm actually getting about 40 frames per second here. Very impressive. In fact, if anything, I've never said this before, but for some reason the Quest 2 is performing better these days than the Reverb G2. This is in TAA mode as well. Now, to go through my settings, I think first of all, let's start with the in-sim settings. This is what I use when I'm running TAA mode, which basically is 100% resolution. So, with those settings in mind, let's have a look at the Oculus tray tool, something I swear by and, I use all the time. This is where you can set your air link, and in this case I'm using a bitrate of 300 as I find that a sweet spot. You can go up to 500, give it a go. Also for the Oculus Spacewalk, well, you can set that to 18 Hz, which is pretty amazing. Also you can set that to 30 Hz. What that means is basically it's locking the frame rate and then it will interject fake frames. Now this is very good actually, it definitely works better than it used to. But I think for most of you, you might prefer disabling it altogether. That's what I'm doing right now, actually. And for whatever reason, I find that the Quest 2 runs better. It feels less stuttery without motion projection than the Reverb G2 and even the Aero. So I often just run it disabled. But again, that's something for you to sort of experiment yourself. Sorry to interrupt you guys, but actually this is future Steve here. As I'm editing the video, I totally forgot about something. That's so important about the tray tool. But every time you go into the sim, once you're in VR, make sure that the tray tool is enabled and in your taskbar. Then make sure that your asynchronous space warp is either off or at your desired level, okay, because you might want it at 30 Hz or something. But generally speaking, basically what happens is the Oculus software automatically puts asynchronous time warp on automatic. You don't want that. So as soon as you're in VR, make sure that you set this to off or whatever you so desire. You'll have to do that each time you load up the sim, okay? Bit annoying, but it'll save you a whole host of pain when you're, trying to diagnose stuttering. Anyway, back to the video. Now just to say a massive shout out to FS Academy once again for sponsoring this video, it's much appreciated. They do provide the best tutorials you can find for this sim, all the way from a GA pilot to an airline captain. And what I love about FS Academy is that they are all designed and produced by real world pilots. So that means the reward factor is off the scale. And honestly, if you're a seasoned veteran like I am, or whether you're just starting out, there's definitely a training package for you. All the links will be in the description below. Go check them out. I'd highly recommend it, and that's why they're sponsoring this video today. As for the super sampling, that is something I personally do not recommend, because super sampling the headset is a lot harder on your GPU than running the native resolution. And if you've got a 3070 upwards, then try, if you go to your Oculus software, go to devices, you can see there, that's where you can set all of your settings. I'd recommend 80 Hz at 1.4 of the resolution. Now feel free again to experiment with that, but this is what I'm running, and as you can see here, I'm getting very good performance over London, of all places. So this seems to be the PC breaker stress test. So if we just recap, we've got the in-sim settings, which are, you might consider very low, but to be honest, once I'm in the sim, I don't notice and it feels great. Also, the tray tool settings, which for me, 300 bitrate is best. I mean, you might want to try 500 as well, with no super sampling and Oculus Space Warp completely disabled. You could also try the multiplier. That actually removes the widest part of your field of view, which actually does give you a very nice boost in performance. But again, I don't think that's really recommended since the Quest 2 has quite a small field of view anyway. But if you are really struggling, I'd recommend trying 0.7 on both sides. Now, of course, you do not need the OpenXR development tool, but the OpenXR toolkit is something I would definitely recommend. And I'm going to show you that right here now. This is what I've got. It's exactly the same as the Reverb G2 settings, FSR. set to 90% with 40% sharpening, got fixed foveated rendering on quality. And with that very heavy cloud, we're getting between 40 and 50 frames per second, which is wavering quite a bit, but that's because I'm recording as well. So really folks, that is it. That is what I'm using for the Quest 2, and I'm getting very good results. I'm often very surprised by the Quest 2, you know, because I don't use it that often for, you know, PC VR content, but when I do, I'm always very impressed with it. I think Meta have done a fantastic job with the software, to the point where, you know, it's actually performing incredibly well considering it's not a native PC VR headset. Please do let me know in the comments how you're getting on with your settings. If I've missed anything, do let me know in the comments below and I'll try and answer everything. And yeah, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to subscribe and I'll see you again very soon. Bye bye for now.